Welcome back to Youier, the podcast for you, members of the Itchy Soul Playground. I'm really excited that you're here. Remember, you can share this with your family and friends, anybody who you think it will be helpful to. And if you're watching this and someone has shared it with you and you'd love to come and join us in the playground, go to itchysoul.co to find out more and join us. So with that quick housekeeping note out of the way, in today's episode, I'm hoping to challenge you a little bit because at the time of recording, it is looking at my calendar, it is the second week of June. We only have 2 weeks left really of this second quarter of 2020. Now, we've got to acknowledge, take a deep breath. 2020 has been bonkers so far. Let's be honest. We in the playground we got quite excited at the start of the year. I know I got really excited, and I sort of hopefully shared that with that. Maybe that rubbed off on you a little bit. This idea that 2020, woohoo, 2020 vision. It's a good play on words. I loved it. And having had COVID happen, and even before COVID, there was the fires in Australia. There was stuff happening that wasn't brilliant about the year. But really, COVID brought us all together in that sense of, this year has been quite unlike anything we've ever experienced before. So right back at the end of March, you might remember I was reminding you to be really kind to yourself. Now, I'm always here to advocate that you be your advocate for. I'm going to I get my words the wrong way around, but you know what I mean. I'm here to encourage you to set goals because as somebody who used to be really allergic to goal setting, and I used to get really frustrated with it, what I've come to realise is that the problem isn't goal setting per se, it's about how you approach it, because it's all too easy to set goals in December or at the start of January. So imagine, let's take this year as an example. If you'd have set goals for 2020 back in January for the year as a whole, and right about now, you'd be looking at your goals going, okay, there's something not quite right there. And even if you set goals a little bit later in the year, like I know Angela, for example, her year starts in April. Now, let's be clear, by the time you were setting your goals, Angela, you'd have had a better chance of at least being a little bit realistic because COVID was happening. But even so, trying to set goals for a whole year is really difficult, which is why I am here to encourage you to set those 90-day goals, those quarterly goals. So back at the end of March, beginning of April, you might remember I was encouraging you to set goals, but I wanted you to be kind to yourself, to recognise that the second quarter of 2020, or in Angela's case, the first quarter of her new year, was going to be a little bit different to what we've really ever experienced before. With that said, we are now coming towards the end of that quarter. It's not done yet. I mean, to think that it's over would be a bit ridiculous. There's still lots of uncertainty. There's, here in the UK, here in Wales, we haven't even started putting our children back in school yet, for example. And we don't know what that's going to look like. There's so many pieces we don't know yet. However, what I want to encourage you to do today is to start sitting down and thinking about with God, okay, what does quarter 3 look like? So it's another 3-month period, another 90 days. Hopefully, I was looking at my line a day journal, and it's actually something like day 74 of lockdown. So in terms of 90 day planning, by the time we get to the end of this quarter, we will have spent the whole quarter in the whole quarter will have been in lockdown, literally, because it's just mental. I almost said the word unprecedented. Then I'm not going to say that word because that word is overused, but it's mental. And so I want to encourage you and remind you that you are coming to the end of this quarter. And so I want you to maybe start thinking about, what does the next quarter look like? And I want to encourage you and remind you to do this process with God. You don't have to do this on your own. You don't have to stress about it. You don't have to get yourself too tied up in a knot about it. Because God knows, He knew back in January how this year would be. Yes, quite candidly, it would have been nice to have a heads up. I'm just saying, because I got to say that out loud, because I imagine you're probably thinking it in your head. We've got to acknowledge that, but sometimes we don't get to know it all, and maybe that's a good thing, because if we'd have known in January how this was going to play out, can you imagine the stress levels? That would not have been good. But start thinking about this next quarter. You are still going to need to be kind to yourself. You're going to need to be kind to yourself. You are still going to need to be kind to yourself because there is an awful lot of uncertainty. At the same time, it might be that there are going to be different opportunities that come along. Things that you can do in this third quarter that you couldn't do while you were strictly in lockdown in quarter 2. So I want to remind you and encourage you, get your favourite beverage, cup of coffee, cup of tea. Nettle and peppermint is one of my favourites at the moment. That's not instead of coffee. I'm still drinking coffee. It's an addition to. But sit down with your notebook and say to God, right, what are we doing for this next quarter or this next 90 days? What does that look like? And I would always be encouraging you 3 to 5 SMART-est goals. Okay, so they're to remind you, they are specific, they are measurable, they are actionable. Start with a verb. They are ridiculous. Now, this is where you'll have heard me say before, this is where I deviate from traditional goal setting, because I want you to set ridiculous goals with God, things that you're going to do because you're going to do it together. Time bound. What are you going to do and by when? Those are the SMART goals. And then the EST. So E is for exciting. I want this to get you out of bed and woohoo in the morning. Seasonable. Does this goal needs to fit with where you are in your current season of life? Now that's very, very relevant right now. Slowly coming out of lockdown, these goals need to be seasonable. And finally, they need to be targeted. They need to be things that will help move you forward towards the bigger picture. Now, if you've done the Perfect Ordinary Day exercise that I advocate in UE Again number 1, you will know what I'm talking about there. If you haven't done that one yet, go back and watch it, because the Perfect Ordinary Day exercise is really powerful. It's a writing exercise. It will take some time, but it unlocks aspects of things that are inside your mind, maybe God-given goals and dreams and aspirations, maybe even things you'd forgotten about a little bit. But that's what the final T in SMART-est is. Does this goal fit within the wider context of you being you and those things that are niggling at you? So that's what I want to remind you about today, is to start thinking about this next quarter. We're not there yet. You've got a bit of time, but we want to do this deliberately and intentionally. That's why it's called UE by design. We don't want to do life by accident. We're here to help you thrive and really, really live with God every single day. So that's the play thing. And as ever, of course, share what comes up for you in the playground. Let's talk about it. The things that you find challenging, the things that you find exciting, the things that you find terrifying, the things that you're, I cannot wait. Share that stuff. Let's talk about it. There are no right or wrong answers. This is about doing community, doing this together. And I'm really excited to see exactly what you come up with. Quite candidly, I haven't done mine yet. I'll be doing this process with you. And so I'll be sharing what comes up for me as well. I've got a couple more bits I need to finish off to check off those last couple of goals for this quarter. So the big focus for this quarter for myself was getting the UE Games published. They're all recorded now. I just need to get the last few uploaded. So I get those finished, and then I'm going to start thinking about this next quarter as well. So we'll be doing it together. In the meantime, though, smile, have yourself a delightful day, and I shall see you in the playground very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.